Good morning. Do we have good audio?
We do. Good morning.
Am I again lagging behind, Kari?
What was that? Sorry.
Am I lagging again, like behind a little bit?
A little bit.
I might have to reboot the computer.
All right. The audio comes through fine. It's just your video's lagged.
That's how I am. I move slow. Okay, let's see. Where's the... Oh, you already pressed recording. Good. Well, very happy to meet you all. We have some new people joining us today. So, Kari, you don't have to stay in the call. If you need, you can have it in the background if you want. But if you, I know you have many things to do. And so we have some new people joining in, like Calvin, Joe, and they actually in the process of getting licenses. So I said, hey, just come see how it, see what we're doing, and see the culture and see the things that we do and how we train, and then hopefully you get to learn some things as you're getting completed your licensing exams. Then we have Patricia, we have Vinny, Chris, Matthew, Marcia, Joshua, Sean. Yeah, we have a good group. So to those who don't have video, you're not hurting my feelings. Just when you have videos, the calls way more interactive, and when I can see your eyes, it makes it even more special. Right, so we can have a deeper conversation. So if you're somewhere where you're safe to turn on the camera and you don't have like crazy stuff going behind you, it's okay to turn on your camera. You don't have to have a makeup or anything. It's totally fine. It's a safe place. So today we will talk about listings. Why listings are important? Anyone has any ideas? Like why would we spend time today about listings, talking about listings? Why not buyers?
Listings are also a good source of marketing.
Right. Good point. Like how much exposure do you get when you work with a buyer? Like how many for sale signs do you put out? How many flyers? Yeah, nothing. You really don't get much exposure. Any other reasons why would we talk about listings today?
I would say probably listings is the easiest thing to sell in our market, because it is a seller's market, so you're going to get a good amount of offers on a listing, and if you're helping a buyer, you might not get exactly the house that buyer wants because it's competitive.
Right.
It's also called list to last.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And I'm thinking because the listings attract the buyers, and that way you pretty much, is that correct?
Yeah.
You also control your time better.
Exactly. As Helena says, can you drive 6 cars at the same time? Yeah. No. Can you have 6 listings at any given time? Easily, right? You can service 15, 20 listings. So if you look at the triangle of real estate, according to MREA book, probably we should call it the real estate Bible. It's leads, listings, leverage, right? That's how you build the business. So listings in any market, Matthew, is the most important thing. You have to, as Helena said, you have to list to last. And I went to many conferences and learned from different successful agents. And one, remember, after like 3 days conference, just guy who was selling 1,000 homes a year says, Art, if you take any away from those 3 days, I only want you to take one thing: listings. And that's all. Like that should be your focus. That's what you should be focusing. If you want to succeed in this career, you have to list. Now, I'm not saying, hey, don't work with buyers. It's fine. Some of you are on the real estate sales teams, and and you only are working with buyers, and there's nothing wrong working with buyers. Now, again, with listings in this market today, I wanted to talk about it because we know that there are places that inventory is down 70%. So anything you put on the market will sell. Like you don't even have to take pictures. You just put it somewhere on multiple listing servers that have a house for sale in Sterling, in Ashburn, in Gaithersburg, Maryland, DC, or anywhere, and you're gonna have 15 showings in the week. So
Maybe 15 contracts.
and 15 contracts and
Yeah.
all above asking price. So
Art,
yes.
Art, remember the house that I told you that I lease in Aldi?
Uh-huh.
I have 68 showings in 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. And like at 11 offers.
Nice. Yeah. So it's easy. All you have to do is get listings, and that's the class today. So I had a big shock yesterday. I think it was last week or so. I sold a house in Centerville. We had 13 offers, which is reasonable. Like I expected that sales price for a townhome, but yesterday my clients lost on the offer that we submitted for the house in Oakton that's priced at 1.3 million, and it needs about $200,000 in renovations. And the most recent sale in that neighborhood was 1.36. So the house that's listed at 1.3 received 14 offers. It needs about $200,000 in improvements, and the price escalated to God knows where. We offered above asking, we still didn't get it. So someone overpaid grossly for that home and will spend $100,000 to $200,000 improving it, and they think they did well. Obviously, I have different opinion about it, but it's.
So are you going to address for some of us who are newer, how we get listings?
No, that's not today's class. Kidding, of course.
Because I have two buyers, and it's making me crazy.
You have buyers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Two.
Well, we have Margaret. She's very successful, seasoned.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing this snowy, icy, cold day?
Yeah, we're doing well. Thank you, Margaret, for joining. We'll be asking you some questions about how you get listings. Then we have Joshua. Joshua, will ask him to chip in because he has he listed a lot of homes. I think you closed like 30 transactions last year. So if you will be able to share some things, that would be great. But let me just do this. Let me just show you quickly my list of where you can get listings. You can see that, right?
Yes.
So the good thing about real estate that we are really not in the very complex business. So the fundamentals really don't change that much. We're not sending rockets to the moon. We are selling homes, right? And the sources haven't changed much. So I spent time yesterday really thinking and going through all the sources of the business that I had and that worked for me. And I looked at other sources that are new, like a Facebook and Instagram. And I kind of just came up with this list that I really think this is a place where you're going to find listings. Now, number one, always your database and past clients. If you don't have past clients, that's where you actually go into your database. So you create a database. If anyone is new, I will tell you, if you don't have 100 people who know you and you have 4 pieces of information about them, name, email, phone number, and address, you have no any other tasks to do. You just have to get that 100 people, right, into your database. So that's where you can call them and say, hey, market is extremely well. Our office is selling homes in one weekend, and they sell on average 10% above asking price. Do you guys have any plans on selling a house? Or do you know of anyone moving, right? So that's your database. Expireds, FSBOs, I'm a big fan of expireds, as many of you know, and FSBOs. That's how I built my business, calling expired withdrawn listings. The challenge in today's market is that we do not have many expireds because everything sells. Every house pretty much sells. I've sold 2 listings in the last 48 hours that had been on the market on and off the last couple of years. And the market is so good now that market absorbed it. Door knocking, if anyone is brave enough to door knock, it's a great way to get listings. Again, door knocking will be kind of more future business, because if you look at normal turnover rate in the neighborhood, let's say it's about 5%. So if you knock on 100 doors and you talk to 100 sellers, you might find maybe 4 or 5 people who will be selling in the next 12 months. So they will not be probably selling today or tomorrow, right? So that's kind of more future. Yes.
Art, the other thing I'm noticing on all of the social forums, and I kind of agree with this, door knocking right now in COVID is really not welcomed by people.
Does anyone have different perspective on that? Is anyone doing any door knocking currently or no? Yeah. Vinny?
I'm not really door knocking, but I'm going to the doors and hanging my thingy on the doorknob. So when they come in or come out, they can reach me and they'll see all about me. I've been doing that about every other month. Same
Does that work?
Not yet. I just started right after Christmas.
Oh,
I've done it 3 times.
So
neighborhoods.
Yeah,
I do a lot of door knocking, delivering pizzas, and people are pretty happy to see me. But maybe I should hand out a business card to them also with the pizza.
Definitely.
and see if you can close a deal right on the spot.
Yeah.
Deliver pizza and sell your house. Awesome. All right, so let's go back to the list. So there's one other place that we real estate agents usually overlook. It's lenders, title, and home inspectors. Like if you're a new licensee, it's hard to make those calls, but if you have been around the block and you use particular lender, title company, home inspector, you absolutely want to have a heart-to-heart conversation with them. You will probably be the first one being direct about what you want from them in return. Say, hello, Mrs. Lender, I've been using you for so many loans. I'd like to see if you'd be open and maybe sending a client or 2 when you have people reaching out to you. And so I've had closed quite a few transactions from lenders. Home inspectors, I have not reached out, but that's a really good place to go. Title companies will say, oh, well, normally we find out what the home is for sale only when we receive the contract. So not a very strong place. However, title companies have staff members who have homes to sell. So I know some agents have a lot of success servicing title company employees. Mailing to absentee owners. This is the place that if you want to have one of the better effective mailers, you mail to absentee owners. So you go to multiple listing service and you pull the list of homeowners who do not live at that particular property. And the idea is that they might be getting tired of being landlords. And if any of you have some rental properties, you are getting those letters all the time, I'm pretty sure. We have a couple of rentals and we do get those letters like probably every 2 weeks or so. And some of them are pretty good. Say, hey, you're tired being a landlord. The market is really hot. I'll be happy to sell it for you, and whatever the language is. Pretty simple. But so you mail, instead of like mailing to general area, you mail to absentee owners. Yeah.
So is there a way to pull them, Art, that you show? Is there a search term that you pull in MLS that pulls it?
There is, and I just need to go to MLS and do that.
It's just a
Someone
check
know?
mark for non-owner occupied.
Go ahead, Helena.
It's not, there's a check box for saying whether or not it's occupied or not.
Mhm. Yeah, as you like do like a label export or you search by geographical area, there's Helena is saying there's a box that you check or uncheck, right? Own, occupied or not. And you'll see that this list, you'll see the property address and then will be own address. Like those will be two different addresses, right? So you mail it to the address of the owner. Mailing letter, working with the buyer in the neighborhood. That has been the best response letter for me in the past. And that's kind of, if you have a specific farm that area that you work with buyers, or you know anyone in this office works with a buyer. I don't know if there's a neighborhood now that people wouldn't be looking. So you basically send a letter that we work with the buyer. That has been very, very effective for us. And then special events like Shred Day and other things, that's kind of more into your database and past clients. You invite them over. But the reason I listed it is actually during the events, I remember one of my coaches kept telling me, like, are you asking for listing referrals? And it's like, why? Does it matter? He goes, yeah, it matters. It matters. Like, you shouldn't be generic. Like, hey, do you know of anyone buying or selling a home? Like, if you're looking for listings, you want to be really talking all about the listings. And actually, I did have this. I did have some success with I'm more purposeful in the conversation instead of, hey, do you know of anyone buying or selling? Just talk about listings more. I think it activates something. It's specific and yeah, it worked. So if you don't have listings, you can promote our listings, Kellum's Dulles listings on social media. Hey, we just listed another house. And basically, if you're a new agent, you really don't have many things to brag, so you leverage office success, right? And you say our brokerage listed this house and post, and I don't think there's any violation, because Margaret might correct me, but I think our broker, as long as we all on the same brokerage and the agents are not opposing to each other, sharing the listings, I think it's totally fine. Feel free to share any of my listings.
So do we need to ask Art, or is that okay if they're up? It's okay.
What do you guys think? Anyone has the answer? Because I always check.
I think you should ask the listing agent for permission.
Yeah, it will be like a courtesy. Some agents might say, hey, it's my listing, what are you doing? Right. And it's okay. I respect that. They might want to. I don't know, why would you limit exposure on your listing, right? It's you're not going to be posting them same place, same time, and I think it's a bit of a scarcity mindset. But I totally respect some agents don't want to do it. So no, it's my listing, don't touch it. I worked so hard to get it, and that's totally fine. So again, use mine if I have any. I had 3 yesterday, only down to 1 in DC, so not much to post. Newsletters, email blast. There's one email that I need to find. It's really, really effective. It's a text only email. Doesn't have HTML, pictures, anything. Basically saying, my friends, the market is extremely hot. Inventory is down 70%. We desperately need for homes. If you know of anyone who's planning on buying or selling, can you send me an email, please? Also, to find out what your home is worth, click here. Like you probably have on your website some kind of email capture form where say, hey, enter your property address and enter your contact information, and we'll send you the comparable market analysis. So that's kind of the list that has been around. I think that the changes are like you add Facebook, Instagram. I'm not an expert of Instagram. I did do a lot of Facebook campaigns in the past. Again, they were more related to the buyers and capturing buyers, but I've seen agents having success and have engagement with their sphere of influence when they post listings. So I think this is a cool way to do it. Just post listings. When you start posting listings and showing whether it's yours or it's not yours, I think you start building trust in your database's mind that, hey, you're successful. Other people trust you, so I should trust you as well. Okay, so that's kind of the list. I have a few more slides, but I like to ask you questions because we have some seasoned agents. Is there any other listing source that you guys would want to add to that list that I missed? Karen, Margaret, who else is here seasoned?
I was just going to say earlier, I was trying to butt in and say that if anyone's interested in getting feedback on what works right now with door knocking, talk to John Ginty. I believe he has been doing that somewhat regularly through the pandemic with a moderate degree of success.
Mm-hmm.
John Ginty, who works with Michelina.
I have a excellent individual whom I need to bring, and thanks for reminding me. And he really wants to do some training for us. He is Matt, and he is with Rob Chavez, Casa Group. He did about, I think, $900,000 in commissions in Gainesville. He's just dominating that Gainesville market, and all he does is basically door knocking. And that I don't know, is it 1,000 homes or 1,500 homes? So he just built a massive business, and he really wants to come and talk to us, kind of share his success. So I'm gonna definitely, I'll make a note to get him out as well. He has a specific app that he tracks which door he knocked. It allows him to like make a note. I remember I talked to him in the past, and the system that he developed is really powerful and really working for him. But you have to be brave. You have to be brave to go and door knock. Anything else? Margaret, do you have anything that?
No, I mean, I think you really hit on, and there's so many experienced agents here too, but, I think it really, if you've got a buyer looking in a specific area, door knocking in a specific mailer is going to be helpful. I've door knocked. I would still do it, but I would be properly prepared with a mask and gloves and stuff. But, I think in our market, to serve our buyers' needs, we're going to really have to, do what's needed, because it's just, there's not a whole lot out there.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge that we as agents will be facing this year. It's the shortage of inventory. So if you're heavy on the listing side, the balanced business should be about 60% listings, 40% buyers. And if you're very heavy on the listing side, like I do normally about 80% listing and 20% buyers. And I'm going to be struggling to meet my annual goals, right? Because there's just less properties to go after. So, but what do? I mean, you just really have to work harder. That's all. Like it's really, there's mathematical certainty. If you talk to 100 homeowners, that 5 of them will be selling in the next 12 months, right? And now let's say half of them have an agent. So you still have about 2.5 sellers who have a house to sell in the next 12 months. But the key is to do it consistently. So door knocking is really, really powerful. I chose cold calling because I thought I can cover more ground faster. And for some people, it's cold calling. They won't do anything. They say like, hey, like, shoot me. I'm not going to make a cold call. And it's totally fine. Right? You go do it. You have to do something. There isn't a way that you can get listings without doing some kind of activity. So for the less experienced agents, I'll tell you, like all the marketing based, because we usually get really excited about marketing. Say, can I do marketing? Can I market myself to attract sellers? The answer is no, it's not going to work. It takes about 3 years. If you market yourself to some geographical area, hopefully in 3 years, you'll get a response. I have neighborhoods that I've been mailing for 3 years with a zero inquiries, zero responses to my mailers. So Vinny, when he starts putting those door hangers, it's wonderful, but the results will come if he's lucky in 12 months. If he does it every 2 months, and consistently, people, oh, this is Vinny again with his door hanger. So he's going to start earning the mind share. But until that, nothing's going to happen. I'm just sorry to tell. Now with prospecting, you're in control. And the prospecting is now business. You can pick up the phone. You can call expireds for sale by owners. You can call this sphere of influence and ask them, who do you know who might be thinking about selling the home in the next 3 months, 3 to 6 months. So this is prospecting. And again, prospecting doesn't cost you anything. So your business should be prospecting based, marketing enhanced, not the other way around. And I will be the first one to admit I really wanted it to build a marketing based business because marketing is scalable. I can mail as many flyers as I want. And Carlos knows, like, yeah, you can put some salespeople on the phone and they will, having a moving company, you know that you can do certain things in marketing, and it's totally different as a real estate agent. It's, if you want money now, you do prospecting, and 80% of time spent should be on prospecting, maybe 20% on marketing, and you'll have a fantastic business. And as you grow your business, as you have 10 transactions a year, let's say, then you can say, okay, you know what? I just don't want to door knock anymore. I want to move a little bit more to the marketing. So I have more time and freedom. I have to do less prospecting. And that's you earn your right to do that. Like many of you here have not earned the right. Margaret has earned her right. Helena has earned her right, and other agents here on the call, they earned the right to go heavy on marketing. But you will see even those agents, they quite often go back into prospecting mode because they see that the business starts going down or they need extra transactions. That's kind of what I've seen. Every time I took my foot off the gas pedal on prospecting, the business drops. Right? I have not, and that's great news. It's great news. It doesn't mean because a lot of times agents say, hey, I don't have the money to spend on marketing. Good. Because if you had the money, you spend the money, you would never get it back. Right. What do you guys think? Like, is there a one source that you feel you're going to take action in the next 24 hours? Like, what's going in your mind?
Hey, Art, I'm reaching out to my database to clients that are sitting on additional properties, that I know have 2 or 3 homes, because this is the height of the market, I believe. And, so I'm reaching out to them to say, look, if you are thinking of selling, this is the time to sell. Also, if you've got a client that has what I call a stepchild, their property backs to, the electrical substation, this is the year to sell the property. Okay. This is, so yes, it's going to be tough to find them a new home or a new replacement, but, with, doing, the work, like the door knocking, you can find that for them. So I just picked up 2 new listings yesterday. So,
wow. So tell us the source, because that's really important. We're talking about listings, and here's Margaret with 2 new listings, and they will sell. I give you 99.999% certainty that those listings will sell, right?
Yeah. So, it's database, and I know that's really tough for newer agents, but it's the database. I've got one that I put in a property 2 years ago in the 20194 zip code. They had a baby. And that's another thing too about, doing the pop by stuff and reaching out to your database. So last month I found out I've got clients that are going to have twins. All right. So I sold them so I know they've got a couple of years, but in another year or so, they might be ready to move again. So, but anyway, so folks that are in townhouses that just had babies, and coincidentally, I have two. So they're wanting to move to a larger home. So anyway.
I love it. So I want to
At the meeting, I'll talk about the townhouses.
Well, where are these townhouses, Margaret? Because I have two buyers that one particular is dying for something.
Well, Marcia, I thought I would share that at our office meeting at 11 and not the. This is one thing. So Karen and Helena and a few of the other agents, I've lost my shyness. Okay. I don't care about knocking on somebody's door. If they, don't want to talk to me, well, you know what? They don't want to talk to me. But, and then also I can't say that I'm the best phone person, but you know what? I've gotten over, whatever that shyness or whatever it is, and I don't care. I mean, I've got a purpose. I've got a reason for calling you, whether it's just to say hello or if I'm trying to find a property for a client. So, I mean, I'm just, maybe more purposeful driven. So I don't have that shyness that I used to have when I was in my 20s, 30s. Anyway, all right. That's it. I'm off my soapbox. Somebody else talk.
So I wanted to kind of second what Margaret said. And that's the conversation I had with one of my clients, because they, should we take this offer or should we not take the offer? That's like a listing that has been on and off the market. Look at this. It's been listed for last time it was listed, it was like 900 days on the market, 3 years. Then it was listed with another agent for 41 days. Then I had it listed for 6 months. And again, the sales price is high. That's why it's not kind of moving. It's in Herndon and it's $1 million home in Herndon, but it's in Langley High School District. So that's kind of the only one attractive thing. It's right off Route 7 here. And I told the sellers, if you are not taking this offer and if you're not selling now, you're never going to be able to sell this house. There's potentially rezoning happening in the next couple of years that high schools will be rezoned because Langley High School still has some capacity, but McLean High School does not have capacity. And the property values will drop. I'm sorry to say that, but those homes will get hurt badly in Herndon when they get rezoned to different school. So any home can sell. Like this is the time you have a house that backs up into the toll road, you list it. The house that's been on the market 4 or 5 different times with 5 different agents, it didn't sell, you list it. So this is, I think it's a great opportunity to go back to look for some old expired listings. And when you work with the buyers, one thing that you might want to do, for example, if you know a specific neighborhood that people are looking, you actually search for expired withdrawn listings in that neighborhood. Go back 3, 4, 5 years. Find the homes that did not sell last 3 years and call or go door knock or put the hanger on the homeowner's door. Say, homeowner, I do know you had the house for sale 3 years ago. Not sure if you're still thinking of selling. I actually have people looking in this neighborhood, right? So this is more kind of targeted approach to finding listings. Now, is this house going to work for your clients? Chances are not, but you will get the listing, right? That's kind of like this. The purpose of this approach is not really to find the house, actually. If you find it, great, but more likely it's the finishes might not be to this, to whatever your expectation of your buyer is. So that's really one of the best ways to find listings. So expireds, if you ask me, I would say do expireds. If you're afraid of the calls, do pop buys. But one thing we all have to do is we have to build our sphere of influence. And why are we doing open houses? Like we do it to grow our database. We don't do open houses just for fun. We do open houses to capture future buyers and future sellers. Because sometimes neighbors come out to check us out. Like, who is this agent? Who is that Peter holding the open house? Let me check him out. Oh, he seems to be knowledgeable. Yeah, I might call him when I decide to sell. But again, open house is more kind of to capture buyers. So let me just go back to the slides. When you find someone who is interested, you might use some categories like lead categories, right? Like if you identify someone who's a seller lead, you can identify them. If you have more than one lead, you want to start sorting them. A, B's, and C's. A will be someone who's ready to sell immediately, and that's daily follow-up to secure the appointment. I have one actually now that requested a showing of my listing, and I showed it to them. They said, oh, we already met with one agent. I call them actually daily to follow up. He says, well, we're leaning towards our agent. I continue to call until they tell me like to stop, right? I will continue. That will be able, ready, and willing to do business in next couple of weeks. B's will be someone who's going to do in 15 to 60 days. So you put them in your database and call every 2-3 days, at least once a week. And C will be someone who will be in a couple of months or more. They kind of, we might call it in the dreaming phase, right? They say, okay, you know what? We think about selling. We're not quite ready. And call monthly. So you call monthly those people. Convert the leads. So when you have a lead, everything is a lead. It's not going to be like, oh, Karen, can you just come and list the house? Like, it rarely doesn't happen. It's going to be a lead. Someone who says, like, that individual might be selling the house, or I might be selling. So it's just a lead. So you have to convert the lead into the contact. Ask for the appointment, ask for a referral, and usually over the phone, I recommend don't try to say how good you are. Just set up face-to-face meeting. That's where you close business, right? Don't negotiate commissions. Don't talk about services. Say, great, that's exactly why we need to meet. I'm going to wear a mask, we'll social distance, I'll wear gloves, and we'll take all the precautions, but let's set up a time to meet. And also, again, pre-qualifying. As you get more experience, you'll be spending more time pre-qualifying sellers. Now I can say if the seller can fog the mirror, it's qualified. I'll go ahead and meet with them, right? So I'm not very picky on pre-qualifying, but I still do pre-qualification calls with every consultation I have, and basically that positions me as an expert in seller's market. Pre-listing questions and listing presentation. We have all the presentations and everything ready in command. If you need to know how to find it, you have to come to class and ask Mike Seidel. He'll tell you where all the templates are for listing and pre-listing presentations. So what are you going to do between now and next productivity coaching? Anyone is brave to share what you're going to be doing?
I'm going, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll go after you.
Well, I do have a database, and I'm going to email to my past clients who could be sellers an NAR RPR mini report on value of their house, and ask them if they, tell them that the market's the best I've ever seen in over 30 years in business here, and see who raises their hand.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to blast it to everybody you have in your database?
My sellers, past buyer clients.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no, that's good. That's good. And then you'll get some potentially some leads who's going to click on your website. So do you monitor, or you just use a regular email to send? Do you see who's clicking on your emails?
Yes, I can. And so I'm either going to mail if I don't have a good email, or I will attach the mini seller report to an email to them.
Wonderful.
Never know. Got to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. The good news, again, if you get a listing, you don't have to worry about anything else. How to market it, just call photographer and enter a multiple listing service, and it's pretty much done, right? All right, who else? What else? What else? Carlos, I think, had.
Hey, yeah. How are you? All right.
Yes.
So like I mentioned, and like you mentioned, doing the real estate is a lot different than the moving company and the forms of getting the client. So I did try the Zillow Premier Agent, which is not a good, investment right now, especially with the low market. It's sharing nothing is pretty bad. I mean, you're paying monthly regardless. So my thing was having an advantage providing, because when you buyers and sellers, they have to move regardless. So what I'm trying to do is offer the credit, like a $500 credit, which basically that's pretty much what I'm paying Zillow anyway, and try to generate some leads through that, and do some campaigns and try to capture some names and emails and phone numbers, so I can go ahead and just get started with a list of potential clients. What do you think? You think this is a good approach?
What do you guys think?
Yeah. Anything that you are willing to go out there and try is a good thing.
Yeah.
Act and set appointments, you die. You do not make it in real estate.
Yeah.
The only challenge, Carlos, that I can say that, think about this. Think about like car mechanic. You come to the car mechanic and you have, that, he's going to work on your car.
Yeah.
And then he says, hey, by the way, I'm a doctor as well. So if you need the kidney surgery, I can definitely do that for you as well. And you're going to be like, I'm not so sure if I want the same guy to do. So I think segueing from being a professional mover and owner of the moving company to being a professional real estate agent, that's how you're going to have challenges with. I think some kind of incentive like this, hey, if you sell a house with me, we'll move you for free. That probably would go really effective.
Yeah.
And it might be something that you might want to be doing, see how that works. But commingling two professions is really tough.
Yeah, I understand. But so what I'm trying to do is offer the $500 credit that can be, used up for moving, storage, staging, or even just if they want to just get material, $500 worth of material. That's up to them if they don't want to have us move them as well. So just giving it a try, kind of, because like I said, right now, I'm being new, I don't know where to start. So I started with the Zillow Premier Agent, and like I said, it's not going as well as I thought, especially at this time. So maybe this different approach maybe gives me better results.
I would say don't spend a dime to everyone on getting buyers.
Yeah.
Why would you get a buyer in this market unless they come to you, right? If you have a referral or someone who just falls into your lap, work with them, absolutely. But do not spend a dollar or cent finding a buyer, because you're going to have a buyer who you're going to have to compete against 15 other offers. Chances are they're not going to get. And it's just, don't spend money. Absolutely. Smart thing to do. Stop spending money on any marketing that's potentially can lead capturing buyers.
Yeah.
Some buyers have homes to sell.
Yeah, good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. And that's the question that you ask during pre-qualification. Hey, do you currently own or do you rent? Right. All right. So who else is brave enough to share what they're going to do in the next 24 hours? Because you have to take action within 24 hours. If you don't, guess what? Before you know it, it's going to be another Tuesday, another PC session, and nothing really changed. Like for the new licensing, people who are in the licensing process, I recommend you start building your list. Like you build your 100 contacts. This is the money. This is really, if you look at any real estate book, if you analyze any real estate models, you will see that if you have 100 people in your database who know you, they will take a call from you and they will call you back if they missed the call and they like you, there's mathematical certainty that you will have 10 transactions from that group. Now, you have to stay in touch with them at least 4 times a year. You have to call and talk to them. You have to send them some kind of marketing or promotion stuff once a month, like an email blast, what Helena's gonna send, or like any newsletter that you're gonna send, it doesn't really matter. And you have to call them 4 times a year. Now, Calvin might say, well, no one is calling anymore, and that's fine. You text them. Like you millennials, new generation, they don't call each other. Like I tried to make my daughters make a phone call. Good luck. They text and text and text. So if texts are working, you do text, but it needs to be two-way communication, right? It's like, what's going on? Hey, I'm good. Hey, what's up? Calvin here, just checking in with you. I'm getting my license. I'd like to get your name, phone number, email, and address so I have all information because I'm going to be mailing some market research, some reports. I'd like to stay in touch with you. Is that okay? That's all. Right. So you do this, you spend this time while you're studying, right? So when you get the license, you're ready to attack. Patricia, what do you have? You have your camera on. You have a soup or bowl for us. Is that oatmeal or coffee? What is it?
It is a coffee.
Coffee.
Art, I received 2 phone calls yesterday from past clients, and they want me to do the CMA and their properties because they are thinking to sell. But at the same time, they want to buy. And they asked me, do you think that you're going to be able to find me a house, as soon as we sell the house? And I said, sure. But inside of me, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be hard.
Right.
Especially because they want to live in the same area. They live in Sterling.
Sure. So here's what I did for my clients in Herndon, because they had the same hesitation. We don't want to be homeless. So think about this. We accepted the contract yesterday and it's closing 30 days out. So we have already 30 days to search. Also, we negotiated a free rent back for 60 additional days. So that gives us 90 days. And the buyers were kind of like, oh, no, I'm not sure if I'm going to give you 60 days. I said, we need 60 days. So they gave us. So we have 90 days to find a house. I'm saying if we're not finding a house in 90 days, we have a problem. You're not realistic. You don't want the house. You're not ready to buy. So we have 3 months. There's no reason we're not going to find a house in the next 90 days. It's going to be competitive. We're going to have to put escalation clauses, but we will find you a house. That's kind of my conversation. So when you accept the offers, because you're probably going to have multiple offers, agents will be begging you and asking, what do you need? You're gonna say, I need 45 to 60 days closing, and then rent back after closing for 2 months. So that gives 4 months to find a home, and you'll be good. You'll be a hero.
Art, another question that I have. They asked me if they should make any, repairs in the house, or if they can sell it as is. Like they don't want to do anything. But my suggestion is to invest a little bit money in order to get more, offers and everything.
Sure. So all right, seasoned agents, who wants to give your opinion on should they improve the house or sell it as is?
Probably get more money if they make the repairs or that type of thing. But I think in this market, we're not even having to do flyers anymore. It's gone right away. So you have to price it accordingly, I think, if it really needs a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh. And Margaret, what would you recommend to your clients?
Well, I think it depends upon what the improvement is. Is it, is it rotten floorboards on the back deck that's not going to pass the HOA? Yes, absolutely. But if it's because of a paint color, no. I mean, it all depends upon what it is. I'm with Helena on that.
Margaret,
It goes.
Margaret, she told me the carpet is really, really bad conditions right now.
Be in the home or out of the home?
In the home, the carpet.
So that's going to be tough to replace. I'm going to say at this point in time, no, because whatever color carpet you get, the new might not like the color. Helena, what do you think? Karen?
If it's a really nasty carpet, my recommendation would be to either clean it if it's possible, or I would ask them to replace it if it's really nasty. If it's just a little bit of wear and tear, I'd say no, don't bother with anything.
Yeah, if they've got 3 cats and it smells like cat, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's normal wear and tear, no.
Yeah. So what I tell when I meet with the sellers, and I read probably every book about in real estate possible. Any book, whether it's written 100 years or last year or 100 years ago, it says put new carpets and fresh paint, right? That's kind of, those rules haven't changed. So what I tell my clients, that you will get penalized if you don't do those things. In this market, for example, Patricia, I would have this conversation like, Mr. Seller, do you really want to get the absolute top dollar for your home, or you want to just sell it at a good price? And they're going to say, well, we want to get a good, absolutely top dollar. Then say, okay, well, who is paying the top dollar? The investor who's going to buy a house as is, or an end user who is lazy? They don't want to do anything. They just want to move in. They want it spotless. Who's going to pay the top dollar? Oh, of course, the end user, not the investor. Okay, well, so, and again, I'm very careful like Margaret. I would not go and redo kitchens and throw good money after bad. I wouldn't change bathrooms. But what I'm talking is changing carpets, $3,000 maybe. Repainting, another $3,000. Repainting kitchen cabinets, another $800. I wouldn't do like expensive repaint job where you spray it. I would just with a roller. And regrouting, recaulking bathrooms. I think that's kind of like, I used to flip homes before I had the real estate license, but those are kind of where the best return on investment. You spend $1 or $2 and you get multiple return on that. So again, it's inconvenient, yes. As Margaret said, hey, you have to move the furniture, put in carpets, but we just replaced carpets in the office, and it was a little bit inconvenient, but it's done. It looks much better, right? So it's really case by case.
Thank you.
Art, I'm not a seasoned professional, but I'm pretty sure, like, if you were to put $10,000 into remodeling a kitchen or master bedroom or master bathroom, I mean, it would definitely add 20 to 50 onto the sales price of the home or the value of the home. Around here for sure, with the old homes specifically, if they're out of date.
Anybody know about Curbio? Because if a house needs updating, they come in, they give you a proposal, but they don't get paid until settlement.
Is there like a service that you're recommending?
Curbio is out there marketing to agents. It's Curbio. I actually used them for a house that I had listed in Ashburn Village that was, I don't know, 20, 25 years old. I don't recall today exactly. And it needed a lot of updating, but it was a different market back then. It wasn't the market that we have today. So I would only suggest it for somebody who doesn't have any money and the house is in really poor shape. They'll get their money out of it and they don't have to pay anything until they close.
Right. Curbio is the big company. There are a lot of them out there like that right now. I worked with a smaller one on a complete renovation of a condo in Reston that my client was selling last summer. And right, the draw for that is if you're working with a seller who needs some fairly major renovations, but is not able to pay for those up front. So they're a pre-listing renovation company where your client does not need to pay until closing. So it's a win-win. And Curbio will only work with you if the kind of the numbers work out, that you have enough equity in the home, and they're sure it's going to sell, but they will help you make the decisions. They know what buyers want. They're able to buy things at advantageous prices, get materials, and they know what sells. So it's kind of a formula for them. But it's a great option. There's another company that reached out to me recently. I can't remember their name. I have all their information. And then another company I worked with back in the summer. So if anyone wants the name of those companies, I can pass that along.
Cool. So I just shared a letter that I sent to like 300 homes. It was a few days ago. It went out. Not sure what the response will be, but this is one of the mailers that you actually can download now in the Zoom room. I posted in the chat a Word document, so it's editable. You don't have to recreate it, just change it. So the reason this is right here, because I use the envelope that has like clear plastic here. You see through it, all right? And then once you fold it, that's what they see actually through envelope. It's like a specific envelope that the printer that I'm using is using. And obviously, I'm not folding or doing anything. I do it all through third party. And so the letter is pretty simple. Hey, my name is Art Lacunas. I just sold your neighbors Linda's house at 14611 Stone Range Drive. We were so fortunate to receive 13 offers first couple of days on the market, and obviously only had one house to sell. As a result, now I have 12 families who are qualified, able, and willing to buy a house in your neighborhood, way above the last sold price. If you're contemplating possibly selling your home anytime soon, please consider giving me a call, blah, 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 blah. If you're already working with an agent to list your home, please provide me their contact information. I'd be happy to work through them. If you're not willing to work with an agent, this approach would save you time, money, blah, blah, blah. If you're not working with an agent, this approach will save you time and money and hassle putting a house on the market. So those are pretty powerful letters, like compared to like a postcard or like, hey, I'm the best agent in Sterling. That's not very effective. Like, what's in it for me? Like, when you think about this, what's in it for me? And there are a lot of ingredients in here, like call to action. Like if don't start messing too much with the text. Don't remove call to action. Don't remove certain things, because from the good sales letter, it might turn into something that's useless. Right. So if you don't have a buyer, or if you haven't sold the house, you just edit, right? You say, my name is Joe, and I'm actually working with a buyer, and you don't leverage the sale. You can leverage the sale of, if you don't have any sales, actually, you can leverage any Keller Williams sale. You can say, Keller Williams sold the house in your neighborhood, and there are a lot of people looking, right? So there's different ways. Don't say like, hey, I don't have the marketing budget, because you don't need anything. And you don't have even to send those letters. That's kind of more in marketing. When you make the money by prospecting, that's where you start spending some money. So that's more for agents who want to scale it and trade money for time. Now, until you make the money, you use your time because you have time. You don't have buyers and sellers to work with, right? You have time. I want to say a big thank you to all of you. We had a lot of you joining today. I really appreciate it. I think we were up to like 18 people. This is the biggest crowd we had. And to those who can join us, please join us at 11 o'clock, we will have our own Joshua sharing his secrets. His business is up. The volume is up 49.9%, but the units up like 300%. So we had a lot of small units. The volume is not following the units, but so we will talk to him about what he had done, because he's relatively new. He's just a couple of years in business, and he closed almost $10 million in sales last year. So thank you all. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.